In the NBA, we finally know what the Warriors offered for Lauri Markkanen. Let's break it down. All right, so before we jump into the Utah Jazz here, let's talk a little bit about NBA basketball, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk Team USA, man. The Avengers, the Avenger team is what they're calling it. I don't know if you've heard about this, but let's go ahead and talk about this young kid. Let's talk about Cooper Flagg, shall we?
Absolutely.
Okay, so there's been a lot of chatter about this guy. He was a 17-year-old kid on the U.S. select team, and he's committed to Duke.
Yep, the only high school basketball player, the only player that has not played college basketball that is on the select team.
Yes, so this is, again, a 17-year-old kid who's committed to Duke. Again, never played a game of college basketball or professional basketball yet in his life. 6'11", playing against the best, so what some are saying, the best Olympic team we've ever had, and he's holding his own. And this kid is going up against Hall of Famers, current MVPs, and All-Stars. And he is doing more than just holding his own out there. Have you heard what some of the players have said about him?
I saw some of the post-game interviews and stuff.
Yeah, so here we got, this is from Kevin Durant. He says he looked like a hell of a player. He's somebody that's only going to get better with more experience. He's 17 years old, coming in here playing like he's a vet almost. No emotion. That's from Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Devin Booker, you see how bad he wants it, and this is a story for another time. This is how you're supposed to. This is what you're supposed to do to help promote your league. Is when your young talent that's going to be coming in is going to be really, really good.
Yep.
You as a player, if
he just keeps his mouth shut, dude.
Yeah.
And like if you're watching any of the highlights, dude, he's not out there bragging. He's not out there like he's stone faced, playing his game, getting his shots. There is a couple good highlights of him getting like blocked into the third row by Anthony Davis on a couple of shots. But
yeah,
I mean, Anthony Davis is a defensive menace to NBA players. So why wouldn't he be? The kid's really impressive. He can shoot it. He has great vision. He passes the ball really well. And he's just out there making the right basketball play, which is what makes you that next level basketball player.
Yeah, I just think it's super amazing what this guy is able to do out there as such a young player. And a lot of people, you're just thinking, okay, great, here we go. Here's another overhyped player coming that's committed to Duke, right? That's just but this kid has basically got out there and proved that he's more than that. He's going to be legit. He's going to be the 2025 #1 draft pick overall. This is what Coach White of Nike Hoop Summit said about him. He says, you're not going to see him score 30 or 40 points a game, but I do think you'll see him score 18, 19 points, get 12 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists, 3 or 4 blocks, 2 or 3 steals. He's going to fill the stat sheet, and he's going to affect the outcome of every game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so super. That's awesome. Congratulations to Cooper Flagg. Not only making it to the Utah USA select team out there, but also giving those MVPs and one of the greatest teams ever to be organized by USA Basketball a run for their money. So good job. Keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. With that said, let's go ahead and pivot on over to a team that has 0% chance of getting Cooper. Let's go ahead and talk about the Utah Jazz, shall we?
Damn it, Darren. Just crush everybody's dream right at the beginning of the video.
Before we get into the content, folks, let's go ahead and quickly mention that we do have our Jazz channel that is dedicated specifically to Utah Jazz content. It's called Utah Jazz DNA. This is where, if you're following us for Utah Jazz content, all of our Utah Jazz content will be posted on this channel. First, also will still be on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap. Once Utah Jazz DNA is once Utah Jazz DNA hits 1,000 subscribers, we'll be giving away a jersey. It'll be one of those sweet new purple ones. No,
yep,
the black ones.
The black ones.
Yeah, the black ones.
Yeah, that's right.
We're giving one of those away, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway. And as always, smash that like button. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep.
All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk about our Utah Jazz, shall we?
Yep.
When it comes to the recent talk, there's been a lot of talks around Lauri Markkanen, right?
Oh, tons, dude. Tons. Yeah.
Lots of talk about it. There's talks with the Sacramento Kings. They had a trade on the block for him. They deadlined it, and the Jazz didn't take it, so they moved on and signed off the top of my head, I can't remember, DeMar DeRozan. And then there've been just a bunch of different trade talks when it comes with him in mind, whether it be San
I mean,
Antonio.
everyone's semi-interested in Lauri.
Yeah, the Lakers.
Yeah,
There's definitely been a lot of
absolutely.
talk about it. But the one that's basically making the most noise, and the one I think is the biggest threat, is the Golden State Warriors.
Yep.
Now, this come from the Athletic's Sam Sharamia. He reports the Warriors have discussed their offer around Moses Moody, multiple first-round picks, multiple pick swaps, multiple second-round picks, but that was not enough to make the deal, and the Warriors probably know that. And the Jazz are reportedly asking for all that stuff, plus Jonathan Kuminga and Braden Pudsminski.
Yep.
That obviously is too much, and the Jazz probably know that too. This is from Sam Quinn at CBS Sports. So when you look at that here, so basically what the Warriors offered is Moody, multiple first rounds, multiple first round swap picks, multiple swaps, and multiple second rounds. Utah wants them to take that and also add Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Pudsminski as well. Where do you tell me what you think about that? Where do you think do you think that's too much for the Jazz to ask? Do you think that's going to fall somewhere in the middle? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think this is a typical Danny Ainge, man. I mean, the fact is the Jazz are not just going to give Lauri Markkanen away. They don't need to move him. They do still believe they can extend him. They do believe he still wants to be in Utah. The Jazz are going to put themselves in a position to win in the future with some young players like Jonathan Kuminga and Podziemski. These are players that help them win in the future. The fact is the Warriors want to win now, right? They understand that Steph Curry has a window. The dude is 36 years old. And if the Warriors want to win now, that is not the Jazz's problem. I mean,
right.
That's the least of the Jazz concern is the Warriors winning now. Because realistically, what the Jazz don't want to do is get players that are going to allow the Warriors to win in the future that devalues every single one of those picks.
Right.
And players like Kuminga and Podziemski are the players of the future for the Warriors. The Jazz want to know that once this window closes,
it's closed
with the Steph Curry, right? It's closed, and those picks are valuable.
Yeah, we've already learned. Hopefully, they've already learned their lesson with the Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert trade. Because believe it or not, guess what? The way it sits right now,
we made both those teams way better.
Yeah, we made both those teams way better.
Yeah. And Donovan re-signed. Rudy's going to stay. Like those picks aren't valuable at all.
The Timberwolves, we have a pick for them coming up next year in the draft. They're one of the top 3 teams in the NBA, so that pick's going to be around 29, 28. And then we also have Cleveland, and with Donovan Mitchell re-signing there, that pick's going to be right around, and they're the 10th best team in the league right now, according to
20.
Ranks. So that pick's going to be around your 20 to 25.
Yep.
And so the Jazz will also have their first round pick if it's bad enough that they're not going to default and lose their pick to the Timberwolves. So if they're too good, they're going to lose their pick to the Wolves. But if they're bad enough, they get to keep it. So here's what we're going to have. We're going to have another year where we get a late lottery pick and then 2 other picks later in the draft. So we're going to have a rinse and repeat 3 times in a row for 3 straight years.
I mean, that's exactly why they are not saying that this offer is good enough.
Yeah, I agree. What I think is probably going to more likely happen is they're going to back off some of the trade pieces, but still keep at least Brandon Pudsminski in that trade.
I agree. I think that's probably the player they're trying to go for. He brings a lot of stuff that the Jazz could really use around assembling any team, right? He's just a good, solid young player. And I think that if Danny Ainge is pretty standardly asking way more, and then he'll back off, right? Like he has his set price and he knows what he's going to get for Lauri. And he's going to ask a little bit more than he wants. And then as they back off, he's like, yep, that's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. See, that's kind of the point though. This basically kind of goes to something that I heard on David Locke's podcast where he talked about how the Jazz typically just don't have a way to afford to go big game hunting. If you look at the Mikal Bridges trade, that kind of set the market.
Absolutely.
That was 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges.
Which is insane because Mikal Bridges is not a 5 first-round picks player.
Yeah, so basically what the Jazz need is they need a top 20 player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Right? Lauri Markkanen, if they keep Lauri Markkanen, he's not a top 20 player, right?
Not quite there yet.
No, he's a top 30, not a top 20. But if you keep Lauri Markkanen, you still need a top 20 player. And Mikal Bridges is ranked 50th in the NBA. And it took 5 first-round picks to trade for him. And do the Jazz really want to, flush all their capital that they've got for, maybe a 40th ranked player in the NBA. Like, so the big game hunting thing's not going to work out. And we know based off of the trades that we got from the last time we traded multiple all-stars, multi-repeat all-stars, is that those picks aren't going to be valuable if the team's still good. So just to your point, exactly, I have it right here in my notes, we need to make sure that post Steph Curry, that those picks are good. And that's why he wants those players. Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, and Brendan Podziemski. Those are the reasons why he wants them.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, folks. I just recently heard there's a lot more rumors surrounding the Spurs. They already got Chris Paul. Can you imagine them adding Lauri Markkanen, Chris Paul, Victor Wembanyama?
That is really tough to defend, especially because Chris Paul is a mid-game genius. Obviously, he's the point guard for a reason because he can pass. He's going to find Lauri and all. Lauri needed somebody to pull some gravity off of him, right? You didn't have anybody that was consistent enough of a scorer. And I mean, on the tail end of last season, all we saw was everybody doubling Lauri. I mean, he's the only offensive threat the Jazz really had. I mean, you could bring Jordan Clarkson into the game, and if he's hot, yeah, you might have to actually guard him. But if not, he could go 0 for 76 in one game, and nobody even bats an eye at it because that's just who Jordan Clarkson is. And I love him, but that's just who he is, right? He's a very streaky player. He always has been. He's a scoring weapon. That's what Jordan Clarkson's job is. But he's a streaky scoring weapon, and someone that has a consistent game like Chris Paul that can, if you leave him open in the mid range, it's automatic. That's just who Chris Paul is. And if you send a defender at him and there's not somebody guarding Lauri or 6 feet from Lauri, Lauri's going to knock down those shots. Yeah. And now you add another 3-point shooter / whatever you want to call Wembanyama. Yeah. That's just a really tough team. So that is a great pickup, for the Spurs, because that does make them make an absolute weapon. Yeah, I think it's insane when it comes to that. I keep beating this drum, and I've been saying it ever since we started this show, is that the Utah Jazz are just not doing their rebuild correctly. They have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It's either got to be all in, all out. You either try and compete and rebuild on the fly, or you ship every bit of talent and you just deal with playing rookies and just being in the dumps of the league. We are 2 years into this rebuild. So over 20 months into this rebuild, and we're exactly where we started, where we're going to repeat the exact same thing we've done for the last 2 years. With Lauri on this team, you are a 35 to 38 win team with Lauri on this team. With Lauri only, especially with Lauri in the roster we have, that's it. That's the best you're going to get. Yeah, so that's what you're going to run into. So you're going to get another late lottery pick, and you're going to be right back where you started before. Yep. So I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And again, whether we trade Lauri or not, this is going to be the move that's going to basically tell the Jazz fans, where this team's really going. Because nobody wants to move Lauri. We all want to keep him. We love having him here in Utah. Yep. But when it comes to reality, big game hunting is not working. We need to come up with a different solution. The only way to do that is build in the draft. Yep. Totally agree. Yeah. Anyway, more to come on that. We'll talk about that. I do think that this particular trade package has nothing to do with what they're going to do before. I don't think this trade goes down until August 6th. He can only be traded if he signs an extension. He can only be traded on August 6th. That's it. Otherwise, he can't be traded for 6 months until the trade deadline. Yep. I think this is going to be a trade that goes down on August 6th, right after he signs his extension, because that haul that Danny H is looking for after they know they have him for 3 years. Yep. So I think that's when you can see that something like this happening is at that time. But yeah, definitely more to come. So let's go ahead and pivot on over to a little bit about the Utah Jazz Summer League, shall we? Oh, yes, sir. So I've been fortunate enough to catch a few of these games here because they've been early enough that I can see like most of them either at the gym or when I'm around doing stuff. So it's been really nice to have these early games. Yeah. So let's go ahead and first talk about the draft pick that you called this year, which is going to be Cody Williams. You're welcome. Exactly. So in 3 games, he has averaging 16.7 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. There have been few times out there that he's shown what he's really capable of. Yes. There've been a few times where he's not afraid to go to his weak hand, make a drive, pump fake, get the able to get the defender up in the air and then see the fact that the court is open and make a drive for the basket. Yeah, absolutely. Loved that. And then also he's able to lull his defenders into sleep mode and just pass them by, just drive them right to the lane and get to the bucket. Yep. Not fearful of getting a foul. Who cares if he makes or misses the shot? He's going to get fouled. I've seen enough from him to know that this guy is going to have
with the length that he has, and when he collapses like that into the paint, and his reach, he can finish over most big men in the NBA.
Absolutely.
Right now. I say most because there's a few that he's not going to be able to finish over.
Rudy.
Yeah. And another Frenchman, but we'll move on from that. But yeah, I do think this guy's got all the skill sets that he needs to have to be an all-star in this league. And we'll just see what he does with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I personally, watching these games, the only thing that I can think whenever I'm watching Cody Williams, the basketball, is this guy could be really special.
Mm-hmm.
In that game against the Mavericks, you saw him make some of these really slow pump fakes, and it's funny because in the pre-draft we say he's not super athletic.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little bit slow on his feet. He has mastered the art of using every single one of those things to his advantage on the basketball court. Slow pump fakes, goes past him, 2-step, bam, throw a dunk down. He's shot the 3 ball with so much confidence. You wouldn't have ever guessed. I mean, his only knock on his 3-point percentage in college was just his attempts. He just didn't have a ton of attempts. His percentage was okay, but they're like, has he shot enough 3 balls to really say that he's a 3-point shooter? I think in summer league we've seen that he is going to be a 3-point shooter.
He's capable of it.
He's confident making that shot, and I think he'll continue to shoot a pretty decent percentage. He does a lot of handling the ball up and down the court. You know what I mean? Like he'll take a rebound and make 4 or 5 dribbles, and he's got some great moves to get into the rim. And I'm so impressed by him, dude. I think that
I am. I think
he needs this speed though, right? Like he needs to see this NBA speed. Yes, it's summer league. The best part is a lot of times these summer league games are played with way more effort than you're going to see in NBA games because every one of these guys is trying to make a roster.
Yeah, they're all trying to get a contract.
So you're seeing NBA talented players playing at 100%.
Right.
So I think this is great experience for him. It's great exposure. I think it's good to see him out there just kind of playing to exactly what we hoped he would be. And it's going to be good to see him get in and start learning some offense that the Jazz run and kind of see how he fits in with his roster.
Oh, for sure. Now let's talk about Isaiah Collier. In 3 games, he's averaging 9 points with terrible efficiency, by the way.
Terrible efficiency.
He is getting 3.7 rebounds and also 5 assists per game. However, those 5 assists per game are kind of canceled out by the fact that he's averaging over 4 turnovers per game as well. He just needs to do a better job of taking care of the ball. I think that's really what he needs to learn through the rest of summer league is just, it is summer league. You take all this stuff with a grain of salt. It's not, they could be great. It could be bad. It's just summer league, but that's one thing I've noticed with him is that he really needs to start taking care of the ball a little bit better.
Yeah. And I think people kind of, I think it's really easy to forget these kids were playing high school basketball a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just literally high school basketball. And yes, Isaiah Collier was the number 1 recruit out of high school in the country. Obviously he chose USC. I'll tell you what, I watched that Mavericks game pretty extensively, and the 12 points and 7 assists he had in that game, he had moments where his vision and his speed looks so next level, right? He had a couple breakaway steals in this game where it's just like he's dribbling the ball, running away from defenders, dribbling the ball. He's that fast. Yeah. This kid has that natural ability to get away. The passes in that game, he had 7 assists in the game against the Mavericks. And I'll tell you, he is a much better passer at threading some of these needles than I really thought that he would be. There's one where it's a cross court and he throws it with a spin and it makes a back hop into the player cutting across, down the sideline, and he makes it for 2 steps and puts a lay-in in. And it's like, he has just great, he's got his head up. Yes, he's making some mistakes, but we need him to make those mistakes.
Yeah.
That's what we need, is for him to see, okay, at this speed, I can't fit it in there. In college, I could have made that pass. In the NBA, nope, that one's not going to work.
Yeah.
So I think he hasn't been greatly efficient shooting the ball, but I do like his confidence shooting that mid-range 15, 17 footer, right? And I don't know if that's going to translate to the NBA. We're not going to say he's going to be Chris Paul and going to be shooting 70% from mid-range shots. But if he does, with his speed and his ability to just go in and muscle up guys, because that's what you see in a lot of these games, right? He's driving right at somebody where they're just like, oh no, I don't even know which way to go.
Yeah. And in his defense, the average shooting percentage for first-year guards
is not great.
It's not great in the summer league.
Correct.
He's at 41% shooting efficiency, which is something you don't want to see.
Right, but
But-
that's right on the borderline, though.
Yeah, it's about 43% is the
Yeah.
average for that.
Yeah.
So he's not the worst. But when it comes to that, I actually did expect to see more. That's the only reason why I'm kind of down on him, is I was expecting to see more out of him because of, how highly recruited he came out of high school. And, USC, I think he was underutilized in my opinion.
He was hurt.
He wasn't in good spots, and he was hurt for
Yeah.
the majority of the season.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be a big piece there. I was hoping to see more out of him, and maybe we can see more out of him when it comes. He might spend a lot more time in the G League as he's still trying to come back from that injury, really,
Yeah.
and get back up to his speed and stuff like that. So more to come on that one. I was just hoping to see a little bit more out of Isaiah this summer league than what we're seeing. So
Yeah, and in the previous episode, I kind of, my opinion is he does spend some more time probably in the G League than Cody or Kyle Filipowski do end up spending. But I don't know. I'm impressed with the Collier, man. I think he's done a pretty good job. His efficiency obviously needs work, but I think this kid's got some potential that he can make an NBA roster, and if he can come and play defense, he's got a chance to play.
Oh, for sure. You bring that turnovers down by half, and he's
there.
legit.
He's right at league average.
Honestly enough, one thing I want to talk about when it comes to that is, who's averaging more turnovers per game than Isaiah Collier in the summer league, at least in the Utah summer league?
Bronny James.
No,
Keontae
George.
Oh yeah, Keontae was struggling.
Yeah, he had a lot of turnovers. Of turnovers. I do want to get to a comment here. This one is coming from McKinley Cutler. I kept calling you Coulter, by the way, last time. So glad you made it. I was worried that you didn't come back because I was mispronouncing your name every single time. But anyway, welcome back to the stream, McKinley. So all three rookies are starting to grow on me. Need to see them in the NBA. But like what I'm seeing so far, especially from Collier and Filipowski at 29 and 32.
Absolutely. They look valuable. I mean, to get them that late in the draft when these guys are supposed to be off the board by 20, the Jazz just stole these guys. So that's a great comment. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's go ahead and talk about one of the other, but let's go ahead and talk about
Filipowski.
Sure. Let's talk about Filipowski.
Is there another one there?
Yeah.
Oh, Color has all of the things you can't teach. Could see him being really good after he learns defense and better. Yep, exactly. Better control.
Yeah, no, spot on there, McKinley, for sure. Definitely feel the same way about that. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about our boy Kyle Filipowski. Now, I do want to kind of dive into this a little bit more on him a little bit later. There's some controversy surrounding him that I think that we do need to address. Typically, we don't get into that kind of thing, but there is something that I do want to kind of do, because one thing I like to do a lot in this show is call out the media when they screw up,
because we're not the media. We can do that.
Yeah, independent media. This is why I'm kind of digging the whole independent media movement thing, is because it makes sense to me. The paid media that's out there, that's got a press pass, that's sitting there in the room asking questions of these players, and not a single player with a press, not a single reporter with a press badge asked Kyle Filipowski anything about his controversy surrounding him.
Not even a thing.
Not even one.
It makes you wonder if the Jazz said, like, "Hey, we're not bringing that up."
Yeah, and they just didn't.
Yeah,
so kind of a boo on them for that, but for sure. But
don't do it.
Don't do it. Gotta say, this is a live show, guys.
Don't do it.
Gotta do it. So yeah, let's talk about Kyle Filipowski for a minute there. He had a great game, 20 points, 7 rebounds against the Rockets. Had a really nice game, and I think he's really starting to figure it out now that they have him playing as a center, not as a power forward. I think that's crucial.
Yeah, which I struggle with that thought process, because, I mean, as a center, he's down a little bit lower. He's not known to be a great defensive player. He's not going to be Walker Kessler down there blocking shots.
No,
yes, he can apply some pressure, but he's not even as physical or big as Walker Kessler. He's not. But he is a better scorer.
Yeah, he's gonna be on the floor when Taylor Hendricks is on the floor.
Correct.
Which is a player we're gonna talk about next. So stay tuned for that. But for sure, yeah. So I agree. Now, one thing I want to talk about when it comes to him is that David Locke made a very good point on it. Is that he is the only player in the draft this year where his reach is smaller than his height.
I know, so weird.
So, and you notice that while at Duke, they actually pulled him out of the game against the other elite bigs in the NBA,
correct,
in college game. So it was very clear that Duke knew where his weaknesses are, which is on the defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Utah's going to know that. They're going to hopefully they did their homework on that and just think at that, what was it picked up at 32? That's, going to be something that you know, you either
An
work
early
on
second
it.
round pick, dude. You got to think most of these guys don't even end up in the NBA.
Yeah.
There's so few that end up in the NBA at 32.
Yeah. As a
This
project,
guy will be
yeah.
in the NBA.
Yeah, he will be. And he'll
Yeah.
be on the team. He'll be on this roster this year for sure.
And I totally agree.
But yeah, it's for that round of pick. It's worth developing him and see if we can develop into something else, you know. So, but yeah, great game last against the Rockets. What do you got on him overall?
I really like how he's been playing in space. They have given him, like you said, a few more opportunities to kind of play in 5-out scenarios as a center, which the Jazz have not had in a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
He does possess the ability to shoot the 3 ball. So he kind of puts pressure on teams to come out and guard him, which actually works great. I mean, it really complements Isaiah Collier's game really well because there's not typically a big underneath the basket. It forces you to guard one-on-one, and that's Isaiah Collier's strengths 100%. So you're seeing these two guys kind of link up and play really well together. I can't speak enough about his ability to shoot the ball because he does have a very natural shooting stroke. And he does seem to be a pretty good decision maker. He doesn't turn the ball over as much as some of these other guys do. And that comes with another couple of years in college, right? I mean, he actually played a few years. I don't know. I like him. I think he needs to continue getting more comfortable at this speed, playing with this level of athletes. This is a big jump, right? This is not college to any NBA level league is massively different. You're now playing with the best athletes from every single college team you played on or on every single team you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just get even better when you go into the NBA games.
Oh yeah.
So he's got a jump to make. And I think he can get there. I think the Jazz need to keep coaching him. I think this could be a really valuable pick at 32, like you said. I think he makes the roster, and I think he's got a chance to keep playing.
Absolutely. I agree. All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over to Taylor Hendricks, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, this guy's also coming off of a great game in Vegas against the Rockets where he scored 23 points, 9 of 10 shooting. The only miss he had was in garbage time at the end of the game, where he also had 9 rebounds. In 3 games, he's played on average 28 minutes per game, 11.3 points per game, 7.3 rebounds, 1.7 blocks, but does have over 2.7 turnovers for a game. I really like his development as a power forward for this team at 6'9". He's getting comfortable knocking down that corner 3 with ease.
Yep.
You saw towards the end of the year when he got a lot more NBA time after we threw in the towel there. If you ask me, 2 years too late. But the first couple of games there, he definitely struggled, especially in Utah. But it does seem good that he's really kind of getting his rhythm now and really kind of, getting that efficiency built up there.
Yeah, I was really concerned for Taylor. This guy needed to be Keontae George level player in Salt Lake Summer League, right? He needed to be a men amongst boys.
Yeah,
because that's what Keontae showed. Did Keontae struggle with some efficiency and turnovers? Whatever. Keontae was the best player on the floor every single minute he was on the floor.
Yeah,
that needs to be Taylor Hendricks. He was drafted in the same year, 14 picks earlier. Taylor, we need you, man. We need you to come out and show you've got shooting prowess. You're a fantastic defensive player. You make great backside reads. Taylor is a player of the future on this Jazz team.
He is.
He is someone that they are going to continue to build around. He needs to be able to shoot that 3 ball efficiently, to provide space. And I mean, he's a great defensive stopper. He's got the right size. He's everything we need in that power forward position. He's got to keep pushing and keep working. I think Taylor is finding himself now at this speed, because I think he needed to back down a little bit from what that NBA speed was. That might have been a little bit too much to jump right into, right? Yeah. And he did spend some time in the G League last year, and I think that helped him. But I think he's now seeing, I can run with these guys. I can compete with these guys. I'm better than these guys. I don't need to be playing at this level. I need to be at the next level.
Oh yeah, for sure. There was a couple of games last year at the end where he outplayed quite a few good bigs down there.
Exactly.
So I do think he's got it in him. Yeah, you're right. I did want to see him have that kind of, first 3 games of Summer League in Utah, and then we shut him down. We saw, we're done.
Yep.
Right? I didn't want to have him see him in Vegas. 100% agree with you on that one. That's what we should have seen out of him. We didn't see it. But it is nice to see him kind of turning it around there towards the end, and definitely, having a good game against Houston for sure definitely did help. So
yeah,
I expect good things out of him. Like I said, I still think he was a steal of the draft last year. I think he was the best, shooting big in that draft.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
and you called it, for the record.
Yeah.
Darren called that draft.
Yep. So we're 2 for 2 so far. We appreciate it. But yeah. So anyway, more to come on that. Again, the Utah Jazz are 3-2 in the summer league this year. Just so far. By the way, interesting thing on that
They're actually 2-1. They played 3 games, won 2, lost 1.
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. They played 3 games. They've
Yep.
won 2, lost 1.
Yep.
They're averaging over 7 blocks per game, which is good for the top 10 in the league right now,
which is fantastic.
which is very fantastic. And they are averaging just over 21.7 turnovers per game, which is 3rd worst in the league.
We just want to talk about that one.
Yeah, so we'll continue to update you on that as the summer league continues. Honestly, right now, I don't care if they even make it into the playoffs for the summer league. I just
No.
want to see what I would need to see out of our
Development.
Yeah,
That's all I care
that's
about.
all I really
Summer
care
league
about.
championships mean absolutely nothing.
players. Yeah, which is unfortunate till everybody wins it, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, congratulations, you won nothing.
Congratulations, you won nothing. I like it. Sounds like a giveaway that we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've won nothing.
Well, we've tried to give it away. We tried to give away a
I
t-shirt
know. We
once.
tried messaging people like, "Hey, you want a hat
Yeah,
or
hey,
a shirt?"
Shogun,
And they're
yeah.
like, "Yeah, no, they don't respond." So.
Yeah, Shogun won best comment of the day once on a show once, and he just never responded to us. So
yeah, that's fine.
we'll do it next time. Next time.
Whatever.
Yeah. You got anything else on Jazz there?
No, that's what I got, man. We'll just we'll keep plugging away. This Jazz team. Once the Jazz can make a decision, I feel good about it.
Yeah, that's what I need to know. We need a decision because again, this rinse and repeat of doing the exact same thing for 3 years just isn't going to work.
Yep.
You know, we either got to be. We should have had Wembanyama on the bench set to get Cooper Flagg next year, and then
Jeez, could you imagine?
you know that's what we should have done. You know,
Yeah.
or even just what the Spurs are doing now. Once you have the unicorn, you can then push the rebuild because Wemby proved last year that he's ready.
Yep.
You know, so I don't know. We're just not doing it the right way, guys. Would love to see Cooper Flagg on this team. Tammy did comment. It should be a lot of fun to see him play. Absolutely. Look forward to seeing him play. And you know, before we move off for the Jazz, though, I do want to talk about your boy Potter. Did you see Potter playing a little bit of for Team USA and the
Yeah, Mega Potter. Yeah, absolutely.
That was pretty cool to see a Jazz player
Yeah.
out there for sure.
Ooh, and the Jazz did just re-sign Johnny Juzang.
Really
Yeah, he actually just signed a contract. I think 4 years, $12 million. So he'll be on the roster next year.
nice. Good to have
Yeah.
Johnny. Yeah, that'd be great. Have him back on the team.
I like it. I've been saying this for years. I think he could have got a few more minutes. His shooting efficiency from 3 was fantastic in the G League, and then he'd get into the NBA and he'd miss 2 or 3 shots in a game, and it was just like, so his NBA numbers look skewed, but he's actually a good shooter. Played at UCLA. I've actually liked him since the Jazz drafted him a few years ago, so he's a fun player to watch.
Really hurt to see Abaji on the Rockets, though. Seeing a
Ouch,
Rocket
yeah.
jersey really hurt. Sorry.
Yeah,
That was the one player I didn't want to see go for sure.
yeah, we liked Ochai.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, once again, folks, we did start our own channel for the Utah Jazz called Utah Jazz DNA. If you are following us solely for our Utah Jazz content, we will be posting all of our Utah Jazz content on this channel. If you are watching this on this channel, we'd like to thank you. Thank you very much for finding this channel. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We will be doing a giveaway on this channel. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll be giving away that one of those sweet new Utah Jazz black jerseys. So make sure you're subscribed and make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on that. And drop us a comment. Let us know what we're doing. And
Do it.
yeah, hit that like button for us for sure.
Absolutely.
And once again, if you're watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, we will be linking this channel in the description down below.
Yep.
With all that said, my name is Darren. That is AJ, and this has been the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.